Tonight I am joined by an amazing band whose heavy blues sound has plagued my mind since first seeing them live. They've shared a stage with Sticky Fingers, Jebediah and The Fumes. With 3 epic EPs to boast, it is my pleasure to announce that joining me tonight are The Desert Sea. You guys can clap if you want. You're not allowed to speak yet, not until the maestro says so. But let's introduce them with a bit more respect and launch into one of their tracks, one of my personal favourites. This is The Desert Sea with How to Bleed.
Nice.
So you can't beat that intro.
No,
Very smooth, mate.
especially like when you're the maestro.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't talking about my intro, I was talking about the bass intro. You just refuse to give Andy any compliments.
Oh, you're figuring out quick.
Even I was like, yeah, he's the maestro. Andy's like, no, sorry. Well, if you want a new bass player.
Well, with those, he might be allowed a mic.
Yeah, what's this thing doing?
With dulcet tones like that.
Introducing the Desert Sea.
I'll just stand up on stage and just do it by a cappella. Wow, what a band. Wouldn't it be great to talk to that band, guys? That's your cue to talk
That's us.
to that
Hey.
band.
Oh, hey, that would be great.
Sorry, mate, we're not great with cues.
Yeah, clearly. What were you just saying about the station, by the way?
Oh, I was just saying that, you know, we're obviously not allowed to swear because that wouldn't be very cool, but the station is known as SWA. Like,
It is.
so that's kind of like almost
feels
like
like a license to
swearing.
kill almost.
I'm glad we're all together now and we've all sorted everything out. Except for anyone other than myself doesn't actually know who you are. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Come on, people. Seriously.
What do you mean? No one knows who we are. Don't you know who we are?
This is obviously Justin on my right, who's sitting on an awkward-looking timber box.
Because they can see I'm on your right.
I thought you were on this left.
Alright, whichever side you're picturing me to be on, he's on the right of that. And anyway, I'm Ashton. Next to me is Justin on the right, and next to him is Westy, who is otherwise known as Andy, depending on how well you know him. We know him pretty well here, so we call him Westy. And
And that's
where the
only
Desert
because he's
Sea?
in Blacktown. We call him Westy because he's come to Blacktown. No, his name's Andy West. That's right.
A bit more sense. Speaking of names, tell me about the Desert Sea. That's not just sucking up here. That's a pretty rad name.
Thank you.
It's a bit like the weather today. You know, we had the sea, we had a bit of rain, and then now it's just dust everywhere.
It's very poignant right now, isn't it?
It is. Did not come about easily. It was many hours of arduous back and forth with the 3 of us here. I think emails were being shortlisted, which grew into long-listed versions of names of, like you were saying before, that the sort of conflict of terms that it brings to your mind, the desert, the sea, and we all grown up by the ocean from the northern beaches, and I think we just threw it out there, and then there was like 3 green lights, and we were just like, oh my god, did we all just agree on a name? And that was pretty much.
So that's where I've got it up on you. I've got a band name. I've just got no band. I've got a pretty good name lined up for the last 3 years for a band called Tyle. Tyle. It originally stands for Tom York's Lazy Eye. But every time an interviewer will ask, I say will because this band does not exist. You just change the name. Change what it stands for. To you, Lady Elizabeth. To your little elephant. Whatever you're feeling that day.
I look forward to hearing what comes from this future band.
Nothing's gonna
What
come.
style is this band, by the way?
It was originally going to be a punk band, and I also came up with names for the songs, but I never wrote the songs. Like I wrote
So right, that's the last part you need.
Exactly.
You get the names down, the
I
track
had,
list.
Keith Richards should have died 27 years ago, and every year we'd perform the song, you just add another year onto it. I had I want to try heroin. Just thought that sounded. It's not true.
Isn't that Nirvana?
Yeah, pretty deprived from it. On the topic of seas, is it an urban legend that you guys started playing in a surfboard factory?
Oh,
It's
geez.
pretty close to the truth.
Yeah, I've done some research, mate.
Yeah.
You heard of Nardwuar?
You are not just a fly-by-nighter, are you?
I'm the maestro, baby.
Oh,
This is the
yeah.
maestro. This
You
is
are
what
living
this
up
is
to
about.
that name.
I wish we'd got you to name our band. It would have saved us a lot of time and all our future EPs and songs. We might get you on details before we go.
But just before we move on to that question, can I just add a little comical thing that where you said you really like the name the Desert Sea, and it was a process to come up with us all to agree with it. But if you look at the acronym of our name, it's tedious. So it has a slight little comical negative to it, but it is awesome. So, but apart from
And
that,
The band itself isn't half bad.
We get by as a band, just. But the acronym of the name of the band certainly describes the process of naming it.
absolutely.
Sorry, your question on the we skipped that, Jazz. That's probably a good for you, mate, because it's sort of Jazzy was kind of the puppeteer of the starting in the surfboard factory to a degree.
Yeah, well, one of my good friends is a surfboard shaper manufacturer. He has his own business, and I also played in another band with him prior to the Desert Sea. So when he was very supportive of new up and coming live original music. So he allowed us to use a space that he had set up for our other band to jam in there and create what we've created. Help us to have somewhere to get by, because as you know, you got to have somewhere to get loud, and it's definitely not your mum's lounge room.
As you hit the kick drum with jam, and you could see I guess it was like the dust come from the shaping bay, I guess for lack of a better word, it would just kick up off the ground and just be like puffs of dust.
Vibrations.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, on the topic of the band, your latest EP, Awake Me, has been produced by the drummer of Cog and Juice on the Hanging Tree, Lucius Boric. Got it right. Ish. Not really.
Got it right, Fish. Boric.
Third time's the charm, and that was my second time. How'd you go about meeting Lucius? Last name.
Insert last name here.
I'll edit it in post, even though this is live.
Cog. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
Well, again, I guess it's me. I've known Lucius since we were children. My father was is a retired professional musician, and his father is a professional musician, and they both played together in the early days back in the 70s when Lucius and I were kids. Don't want to bore you with the story, but we go back a long way, and Lucius, we both learnt drums in Lucius's father's garage. Kevin Boric is his father. He's an amazing guitarist, and we set up a drum kit and did some soundproofing in his back garage and learnt to play the drums together. And then years went by, and basically it came full circle, and Lucius left the Hanging Tree, and then I joined the Hanging Tree, and I became his replacement as a drummer, and we're always super close. And then Cog started, and then it all just came together through knowing each other, and then the Desert Sea happened, and
we supported a side project of Lucius because Cog kind of had their sort of, I guess, mid to late sort of 2000 first decade of 2000, maybe 2007, 2008, I can't remember exactly. They sort of had their first real big breakthrough wave with the New Normal, and then followed up by Sharing Space, and they sort of had a peak and then decided to sort of split off their separate ways. And he had this side project that was more of a blues band that actually through Jazz we had some supports with them, a band called Be Massive, really good band actually. And the friendship then grew with West and I and Lucius, and he was into production and kind of grew that, had a studio, and eventually just ended up going, hey, do you want to produce an EP with us? And yeah, it was awesome. He really got the sound. We thought.
When you came in, it looked like you were running the show, but now I'm starting to think that Justin's got all the ties and connections.
Yeah.
So, serious man, sitting in the middle right there.
I'm just the old dude.
Well, Lucius did a great job with the EP. The production is like a Rick Rubin standard stuff. I was thinking about it the other day while I was listening. You know, as I do, I'm a regular listener.
Big fan.
Not just using you for a t-shirt, I trust me. Although
But you do look good in it.
I know, buy a t-shirt. Not sponsored. But yeah, I was thinking about, you know, how good the actual sound quality is, and I thought originally it was just down to the production, but then I started watching live videos, and there's just something about hearing you guys play that everything's so in balance, everything's so synchronized. Do you know what that's attributed to? Is that just chance or practice?
Yeah, lots
or?
of practice and
It's
just
the bass.
Yeah.
It's just the bass.
Just working on our sound. Yeah, just those surfboard factories and those places.
Yeah, it's
Constantly.
just about playing together for a long time and being mates for a very long time and playing together a lot for a long time.
And sort of being a three-piece as well. Everybody's got their own parts to fill and kind of.
Spirit, yeah.
We started. I'll be quick with this, but a little bit. Originally I had like a solo acoustic thing, and then these boys came in to kind of feel that sound, and we very quickly outgrew that. But because of that, we actually had a bit of a backstory prior to the Desert Sea, which enabled a long period of musical growth for the three of us. We cut our teeth playing Sydney shows every second weekend, every weekend for a couple of years, and I think it comes down to that chemistry and time together that really helps us. I feel like, we're all comfortable in knowing our roles in the band, but we're also just great mates that hang out outside of music. So that, I think, comes through in its own way. I don't know, maybe that, to me, I think there's something about that.
Absolutely.
We all know our role. We all work hard to make sure that our end of the bargain is upheld at the best possible standard. And I think through that, we've just been able to create something that...
Yeah, it's all about longevity. Like, I'd like to take this opportunity for any listeners out there that are in an original band to really just stick with it, and it's a long hard road, but it's just really nut it out and stick with it, because that's what makes it better than average and attracts all the good stuff like
me.
Yeah, like being here with you right now. This wouldn't have happened if we didn't stick it out for this long. But in all honesty, you just gotta stick it out, and you'll get recognised for being better than average if you stick it out and just put the hard work in, because that's the only way it works. Like, we're not like a band that has been around for a year and written a couple of songs. We've known each other for years and played together for years, trying to hone this sound
and rediscover the sound of if you've listened to, which obviously sounds like you have, across the course of the three EPs, there's definitely changes in elements to which way it goes. So it's cool to kind of make that growth together as well.
Well, let's get a little taste of that sound, why don't we? Stop holding out for the listeners and we'll get a bit of Desert Sea in us.
Yeah, they don't want to hear us crapping on anymore.
They just want to hear your bass stuff. They just want to hear the bass. Here's the Desert Sea with Set Me On Fire. That was Probot with Shake Your Blood. Before that, the Desert Sea with Set Me On Fire. You guys a fan of Lemmy and Dave Grohl and Probot?
Oh
Definitely.
Yeah.
Big
I know.
fans.
I
Love
did my
that
research. I know you like Dave Grohl.
Radical.
He's alright. Lemmy's pretty cool as well.
You're a bit more of a Josh Homme fan than a Dave Grohl fan.
They're both right up there, but yeah.
You like photographers getting kicked in the head? So tell me about the writing process for that song, Set Me On Fire.
Well, Set Me On Fire was lyrically just a bit of a calling to maybe in relation to the music world, where things can get a bit a bit flat and uninspiring, and it was, and you know, in every aspect of life, you get that sort of monotony. Your job, your 9 to 5, and Set Me on Fire was just a bit of a craving for some inspiration, whether that be artistic or in just general day-to-day life. And then also, you know, aside from lyrically, we just were coming into an era of trialing a bit of a heavier sound, as is present on the Wake Me EP, and so we wanted to just push a little bit further down that road, and we just played around with some riffs and set the tones to heavy, and kind of a lot of that got felt out in the recording process in the studio as well. But it was fun. I really dig that song personally. It's one of my favourites on the album.
It's a good one. It's the most popular one too, looking at all the streams on it. And that whole playing around with your sound kind of links into my next question. I was going to ask, since we do love the Awake Me EP, shoving up to the camera and the microphone so you guys can hear it, you know, the possibility of an album in the next year, 2 years? What's going on?
Well, yeah, we're about to start a new sort of writing process, and we've all been sort of writing our own little riffs and skeletons of songs. We're going to set aside some time to go through them all and pick the best and see what we got. So,
Sweet.
yeah, if we got enough for an album will come.
Well, yeah, it's possible, but also the you know, the music consumers these days, they like their stuff hard and fast. You know, it's got to be out there quick, and the problem with the album process, it sort of detracts you from releasing things. You know, it's a bit more of a longer journey, and it
might be like Tool, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, oh, sweet, we've got 15 years.
We got a few years to go.
I find that sometimes I'm a bit worried about this with you guys, because I do love your sound, and it's been consistent over the EPs. Even though you are trying new things, it still sounds like you. But I've found that when people start to make albums, they kind of turn off that. And there's a few bands that I listened to when they were small and just had EPs, and after like their second album, they found their sound, or you know, changed their sound. Do you reckon it's going to be relatively consistent with how we're hearing it so far, or where are we going?
I'd like to think so. I think we've sort of found a niche that we're really enjoying being in. I mean, I guess as creatives, if that's what you can call us, then you do grow as people and as musicians, and you have a desire to try different things, but at the same time you also don't want to alienate the people that have supported you. So I think we'll always strive to keep a balance somewhere in there.
Yeah, it won't be too different. I mean, he hits the drums hard. He picks up a guitar and it's and then you know, I just thump away on bass. So yeah,
so something reggae or
yeah. Wesley just spreads his legs, plants them, and like rides it home.
I suppose I was
Then picks up the bass,
because we've heard like the blues influence, you know, your Queens of the Stone Age influence and your kind of Black Key stuff. I know you're into that, but you're also listed as influences like Caius and Sabbath. I was interested if there was going to be like a bit of experimentation with like stoner metal, but bit more of a sludgy sound kind of side thing.
You can't rule it out, mate.
Ever considered just a jam sesh where you just turn everything a bit bombing?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that if we do an album and not another EP, if we do an album, it'll definitely be that. Definitely.
Sweet. Let's get into a little bummy track, because I know that you like Caius, so I lined up some Caius for you. This is Caius.
Awesome. Like weird subliminal messaging. People are like, what just happened? It's like short enough they don't notice.
Yeah, the Vulcan Hill station I was at was on land owned by Freemasons. So I made a joke a couple of times by just reading random numbers. Like I'd just be like, and that last song was 9, 5, 8, Awaken, Eagle, Dust, and then like just pretend that I didn't. Like it wasn't like that long, but I just thought it was funny since it was Freemason land. Like I'm sending out subliminal messages. Awaken the sleeper agents.
Someone somewhere's got a sheet. 9:45, White Eagle. 9:46.
Let's go.
Trying to turn all the numbers into like coordinates. Get out of here. Damn it. Come back next week.
Just talking about Josh Homme, guitarist from that band, Caius. Yeah, you guys like Queens of the Stone Age? Went to go see them live last year. Was it last year?
Yeah, no, it was this year.
This year.
Was it?
Jeez,
No.
man, it disappears. Yeah, it was like June or July.
Because I was going to go to that concert.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who essentially ruined my chances at getting kicked in the face like a soccer fish.
Friends.
Guy's name was
Who needs it?
Adam. If you guys want to give your thoughts on Adam.
Adam,
Oh, Adam.
come on, mate.
Adam.
That's-
What?
that's
Really?
What are you doing, Adam?
Despicable behaviour.
Pull your head in.
So speaking of seeing very cool and epic fun time bands live, I was going back to my thoughts when I saw you guys live at Frankie's Pizza by the Slice. Not sponsored, by the way. Wish I was sponsored. Where you were opening for Michael Graves. Now I got a reaction when I mentioned that earlier. Did you get the chance to meet old Mikey?
Unfortunately not. We didn't get to meet Mikey, which would have been cool, but it wasn't so much the support as like, you know, amazing as that was to be on that bill with a guy of that caliber, and obviously at Frankie's Pizza, but
Not sponsored.
yeah, not sponsored.
Not yet.
Not yet. We will.
Open
We
to,
can always have a discussion
Open to sponsorship offers.
because they are amazing people. So there's every chance. But
Yeah, that's great.
But it was the night itself. It was just for us on that tour, which was our last tour. It was just the pinnacle gig, pretty much. The room was, it was a Saturday night. It was effectively our home venue. We're from the beaches, but nobody treats us like it's our home more than Frankie's Pizza and Jordan and the staff there. And the venue's obviously, you know, tailor built for people like us who love rock and roll and sweaty dive bars, and
Yeah.
it was just packed.
It's my
And
first mosh that night.
yeah,
Alright.
Yeah.
there's no holds barred there. It's like it's proper. You know, it's when it goes down, it goes down.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing else.
There's
like
nothing.
Anything
stopping
can
us.
happen at a Frankie's Pizza parties.
It's organised one.
yeah, let's do it again.
X2X presents.
Jordan, are you listening?
Headlining is the Desert Sea, and whoever else I can interview in the next couple of weeks. I was also looking at some comments on, I was just searching around, seeing what the general consensus was. So I was just double checking if I had bad taste in music, because I was listening to it. I'm like, do other people like these guys? So here's a bit of comments, and I want your opinion on them.
Indeed.
So, Reflection, a track of yours, was given 5 stars by a man named Sam, and he said, "Awesome sound, guys. Sounds a little like Nickelback." Grouse guitar work. And I was, I was curious.
This is the part where if I wasn't on radio, I'd swear.
On Smart, there is no swearing.
Am I part of this band?
So,
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for the review.
Thanks,
5
Sam.
stars.
How much money does Nickelback have they made?
Too many. Too much.
Nah, we still don't want to be compared to Nickelback.
Thank you, Sam. It would be kindly appreciated if you never comment on any of our songs ever again.
Buy the EP though. Another one, Fletcher Horn rated Set Me On Fire 5 stars as well, and said, "That riff is juicier than the finest Kobe beef steak. Currently on my way to the Burns unit as my face has melted off."
Wow,
that's
wow.
More of that.
We need
More
to
of that.
meet. We
Yeah,
need to meet.
I was
Sam, you're out.
Did you see what I did
This
with that?
bloke's
I was going to write one for myself. I thought that was sucking up though. Finally, here's a cute one. Here's a bit of positivity. Teresa Allen of GCLive.me described you, Andy, after seeing you live. The Desert Sea perform. Andy is the looks of the band.
Ooh.
So
Real player.
So the comment you would all unanimously agree with?
Best $50 I spent. Get that printed.
Nah, we all totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a go at
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
because if he's not the looks, he's definitely. You know what they say about bass players.
Album cover's just going to be that beard, isn't it? Both beards.
Wait, my beer's not gonna make
Even my beard looks better. And I'm 19. What's going on?
Oh wow.
Right.
I feel like I have to go to the Burns unit.